Short and sweet review is that the book was much better. Hey there, creepy peeps. My name is Nightmare Maven. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title of this video, we'll be talking about my best friend's exorcism. We're gonna keep trying out the spoiler-filled reviews, hence why I waited a little bit to post this video instead of doing it the weekend that this movie came out. Spoiler-free content will still be here. It'll just be a much shorter form videos, which you will be able to see an example of what that's gonna look like this coming weekend when Halloween Ends comes out. Anyways though, my best friend's exorcism is based on the book of the same name by Grady Hendrix. It follows Abby and Gretchen, who have been besties since they were really little, but one weekend something terrible happens to Gretchen and she starts to change. Abby tries to help, but doesn't realize that Gretchen has actually been possessed by a malevolent force. I quite like the book. It's definitely my favorite that Grady Hendrix has written so far. As you can imagine, the heavy theme in this story is the power of friendship. More specifically though, I feel like it's about the power and just the chokehold those friendships that you make in grade school have on you. At the time, they're incredibly strong. It's very much like you and your friend group against the world. But those friendships don't always last after high school, you know, and everybody moves away or moves on, and it doesn't make them any less special. You know, it's like those friendships that shape who you are as a person. Sometimes they last and sometimes they don't. And I feel like this book really captures that type of friendship. And there are some genuinely scary scenes in this book. The cover makes it look fun, and I'm not saying it's not. There are some darkly comedic moments in the book, but it's much more of a horror story than the movie. So about the movie, I feel like it was incredibly shallow. I feel like the friendship only had depth because I knew that it did from reading the book. I'll be really curious to see what you guys thought about it in the comments if you haven't read the book, especially to see how that changes your view on things. And maybe it was the editing also. There seemed to be a lot of abrupt cutaways where it felt like there could have been more, like another scene maybe, or the scene maybe could have gone on a little bit longer. I don't know, I just feel like it was pared down a lot. And that's pretty normal with adaptations. Obviously not every single thing is gonna be in the movie, and that I'm fine with, but it feels like it was pared down even more beyond that. I also felt like the performances were fine. Nothing horrible about them. I just didn't feel any chemistry between the characters, which I feel like is super important, especially for Abby and Gretchen. The strength of the story is the bond that Abby and Gretchen have. And I couldn't help but thinking as I'm watching it, this could have been so much better as a limited series where we could have had so much more character development and story development. So while I'm complaining, I thought the movie was also trying way too hard to be funny. Like I said before, the novel does have some darkly comedic moments to it, but I wouldn't go as far as to call the book a horror comedy, just personally. The movie, on the other hand, I would. I feel like the movie was leaning very hard on the comedic moments. And I love a good horror comedy, but it felt forced and stiff, and it didn't feel like there was a good balance or blending of the funny moments and the scary moments. Within the movie, it felt like trying to mix oil and water. It just wasn't working. And I also felt like it was trying a little hard in regards to the 80s nostalgia. Everything in any scene at any given moment is kind of the wink wink nudge nudge. Hey, remember this thing from the 80s? It's not like the movie made that up. It takes place in the 80s in the book also, but I just feel I don't know, it's just it can just be set in the 80s and we can notice that it's set in the 80s because of the music and the clothing and things like that, but we don't need to I don't know. It just felt like it was leaning too hard on the comedy and the 80s nostalgia for me. I feel like what got lost was the scary scenes, which are like I said, there are some genuinely terrifying moments in that book. I was going in ready for those scary scenes and I feel like I got gypped. Because this is an 80s nostalgia movie, I was kind of hoping for some practical effects. I know it's not feasible for every movie though. There's costs and time and effort that goes into that. The CGI was okay. It wasn't the worst I've seen. It wasn't great either. I do have to say though, I'm most mad at the fucking demon. I had to go back in the book and check because as soon as they showed it, I was like, I don't remember them showing the demon at all. I don't remember like a face off, like an actual face off between Abby and Gretchen and the demon in the book. Being a little nitpicky, and I'm only being nitpicky because I'm sorry, the demon looked fucking stupid. I would have been fine with it if it was scary, but it looked like fucking Creature from Harry Potter. Like Gretchen was possessed by a garden gnome this whole time. Overall, I didn't like this, in case it wasn't obvious. I would recommend just reading the book. Feel like you'll have a better time. I'd love to know what you guys thought in the comments about the movie, whether you've read the book or not. But if you have read the book also, I would like to know how it compares for you. What you thought about the book also, because I know some people who didn't like the book, and I'm waiting to hear back to see, you know, if they liked the movie or not, to see if there's going to be some sort of pattern here. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Become a creepy peep today. I will see you soon with another video. Until then, stay strange. Bye.